We live today on the dish. I'm hosting it. Yes, your boy Trav. Hey man, we got some things to talk about. If y'all haven't caught on to my guy Cat 5, he put it out there, man. He's hyped for this. I got Ty coming in later. I got the guru here too. Me and Guru probably got some things to talk about a little bit later on, but we'll put it here and there right there. But Jorge, hey, the NL East. But talk to the people, man. Let them know how you feel right now,
Hey
man.
man, listen. I don't care what's going on with the East right now. I'm hyped. It's showtime. You already know how we are, how we get down. You know what? It is what it is. We're only a half a game up on the Phillies right now. We're losing, and we're a game and a half up on Atlanta. Atlanta's playing better baseball than we are right now. It is what it is. I don't even care. Let's talk some baseball. Let's go.
What it is you're about to be half a game back.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Cat 5, talk to the people, man.
Hey man, I'm happy to be here. I've had a lot building up inside me this week, and I'm about to cuss on the live like on Myron. I got some stuff to get off my chest today. We're going to start with the National League MVP race.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a real interesting race this year because we've got the top three, at least in my opinion, candidates for the National League MVP are hurt. You got DeGrom, who from the beginning of the season was if he didn't get hurt, this would be your far and away front runner. There wouldn't be a discussion. He hasn't played in a minute. He's still under 1 for the ERA, right? Or no, he's like 1.5.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah, but anyway, he's having he was having the type of season, or actually probably even better than Verlander had when he got the MVP. But he's out indefinitely. We don't know if or when he's going to come back. Fernando Tatis is the guy who's been your front runner for a minute. He's out now also indefinitely. There's no timetable for his return, so we might not see him again. We could see him soon. They're not really giving much of an indication. And then Acuna, Ronald Acuna Jr. from the Braves, obviously is out for the year. And so now we've got somebody who's not in the top 3 of the MVP is going to win the MVP.
Possibly. And just so you guys, and just so you know, just so we get the ERA right, his ERA is 1.08. DeGrom. Still ridiculous.
Yeah, so definitely sub 1.5.
Yeah.
So here, I want to start off. All right, you know what? Let me. All right, here we go.
Take your time. Take your time.
I've been hearing a whole lot this week about Bryce Harper for National League MVP. And that's just not it, man. Like, I get it. The slash line is there. I think he's top 5 or close to it in OPS. What was he said before the show, Trav? Only player in the National League with a 300 average, 400 on base, and 500 slugging. I get it. Like, those are great numbers. But here's the thing. What does answer a question for me? What does MVP stand for?
Most valuable player last time I heard.
All right. So now answer another question for me. In baseball, if you have a guy batting cleanup, let me say that again, cleanup, and he's not number 1 or number 2 on his own team and runs batted in, does that sound like the most valuable player in the league to you?
No.
This man has 42 RBIs. 42. That puts him 46 outside the top 10 in just the National League. He's tied for 48th. He's had 146 plate appearances with men on base this year. And out of his 18 home runs, which isn't a bad number, only one of those has come with a guy on base. Now, that in itself may or may not mean anything, home runs come when they come, but the RBI number is a big, big deal to me. You cannot tell me that somebody just inside the top 50 in plating runs is the most valuable player in the National League in a game that you only win when you plate runs. I'm sorry. If guys just aren't getting on base in front of him, that sucks, but that makes him not the most valuable player.
I agree. And to go with what you're saying, one of the people I'm thinking of, which I'm going to say his name, Trey Turner, has almost the same amount as RBIs, which is 49, and he hits first or second in the lineup. So we got to do better, man. We can't. Bryce Harper got to do better. There ain't no way that we're gonna have him as MVP. I mean, I understand the slash lines there, 300, 400, 500, whatever you want to say. Let's say it for what it is. Bryce Harper only has 2 years where he had over 100 RBIs, and it looks like this year is going to be another year where he doesn't reach 100. Even in his MVP year, he didn't reach 100. He had 99 RBIs. Come on, man. Let's not focus on what he's doing right now. Let's look at it as the whole year and what the person has done. As of right now, in my books, Trey Turner's ahead of him. Trey Turner is also almost on pace to be the first player since 2018 to be 30 for 30 stolen bases, 30 home runs. So I think those numbers would be better than what Bryce Harper is doing. And let's not forget, that year, there was 2 people that did that. One in the NL, one in the AL. The NL, I think they were both in the AL because it was Mookie Betts and Jose Ramirez. But Mookie Betts won MVP, Jose Ramirez was third. So there you go. That alone.
Here's another thing. So for Bryce Harper, 146 plate appearances with men on base, not in scoring position, on base. That is an important distinction, obviously, because if you have one man on first, you don't have a runner in scoring position. But with 146 plate appearances with men on base, he has hit 1 home run. He has driven in 22 of his 42 RBIs in those situations, obviously, because when no one's on base, it's hard to plate a run. But just in the month of July, for comparison, Joey Votto, who obviously went on a crazy tear in July, but Votto had 1, 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, 22, 23, 25 RBIs. Now, 11 of those came by way of home run, and just under, I'm sorry, not just under it. I'm trying to remember what I looked up earlier. I think it was something like 35% of those at bats or of those plate appearances came with runners in scoring position. But a single month outlier happens for players all the time. All I'm saying is you can't tell me that one man who everybody has said is washed up for 3 years, you can't tell me that man can put more runs in 1 month than your MVP has in half a season. Sorry.
Bryce, man, it's the hype that came along with him that got a lot of us like, dude, you're not who they're trying to put you.
This man, like, outside of the actual on-field product, this man was baseball's Jamarcus Russell, as far as the hype goes. And he came out of the gate real hot his rookie season. He had a great year. He won an MVP in 2015, which I still don't think he deserved, but that's beside the point. But he hasn't lived up to that season since the 2015 season. And what's crazy to me is I'm listening and watching listening to and watching all these baseball shows, MLB Network, ESPN, Fox, whatever. And I'm listening to people saying, oh, yeah, everyone said he was overhyped for all these years. And now maybe is he underhyped? Get the hell out of here.
Underhyped. How is somebody underhyped? You know, like, he's been overhyped to us for years, and he only came through in 1 year. And let's go back to it, and we talk about it all the time. The year that the Nationals won the World Series was what? The year after he left. Come on, I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, that by itself doesn't mean they wouldn't have won it with him on the team, but a lot of times in sports, things always happen for a reason, man. And there is a reason that they didn't win until he left. And honestly, I think a big part of it has to do with more focus being on the team and not being on Bryce, and, giving the other guys on the team a chance to shine in the media, and getting their roses and all that. But he's just not that dude, man. He can't carry a lineup. And that actually, Trav, this is what I was saying to you.
I love it. Say it again one more time. He's not that dude like that.
Dude.
Yes.
You can be, and this is another thing. We see this in sports all the time. Every sport. You can be a great player and also not be capable of carrying a team to the promised land. Like, there is nothing wrong with being the key piece instead of the guy. And that's what Harper is. He is a key piece for a championship team. He will never be the guy that got you the championship.
Talk the talk.
I've said this about another player that plays out west. Manny Machado's the same thing. Manny Machado is not that dude. He's a key piece. He's a key player, but he's not that dude. And both of them they're the same. They're good offensively, strong arms, amazing at the plate, but they need somebody to help them. I had this conversation with you guys previously, and it hasn't been on the show. Bryce Harper is not going to be that person that's going to carry the team to the playoffs. He's not going to be that one bat that's going to carry it. I know it takes 9 people on the line or 8 people in the lineup plus a pitcher, whatever you want to say. But Bryce Harper needs help. Bryce Harper is not that person. He's shown in the past that he's not that person. He did the same thing with the Nationals. He's doing the same with the Phillies. With the Phillies, they have Real Muto. They have who's that? Hoskins. I always forget his name. I mess up.
Rhys Hoskins.
Rhys Hoskins. They have Rhys Hoskins. They have the third baseman Bomber they have now. He's a good young player. They have pieces, but Bryce Harper is not going to be that central piece that everybody's worried about, and everybody's like, oh, watch out for the dude. No, he can be had, and he hasn't come up clutch for any team yet. So
yeah, and that's the reason that you've never heard his name in MVP talks this year until 3 other people got hurt.
And you wouldn't have.
Period.
If Tatis comes back, Tatis is gonna win. It's just he will. He's that guy right now, and he's gonna win it. If DeGrom wouldn't have gotten hurt with being out 2 months because of his arm, he would have beat Tatis out. And let's be honest, I mean, as much as I love DeGrom, Acuna would have won the MVP and they would have given the Cy Young to DeGrom, because it's harder for a pitcher to get the NL MVP and to get the Cy Young.
I don't know, man. We could do a whole show on that, but you post a season-long ERA at or around 1, it is real hard to argue with that.
That's it. That's MVP consideration.
Yeah, but also what Acuna was doing. What
was Verlander's ERA
when he won the MVP?
Yeah, do we know that? I can look it up real quick. What year was that?
I'm
was
looking
like
at
14 or something, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Was that when he was at Houston or Detroit?
That was Detroit, I think.
That was Detroit.
Detroit.
So
Here we go. Okay, so it was all the way back in 11. Okay, so he had a 2.4 ERA. Now he was 24-5. That's actually a really big factor there because given the fact that DeGrom plays for the Mets, who, before they traded for Baez and even since haven't had any sort of run support for their pitching. DeGrom was never going to get to 20 wins this year, but a 2.4 ERA though. He started and here that's the other thing is he didn't get hurt. He started 34 games that year and pitched 250 innings. So
that's key factor. I mean,
yeah.
the 20 wins is a key factor, and this gives us a good segue to what we're going to talk about next. If you want to add anything to the subject, let me know, or we can move on.
I'll just throw in. You said for you, Turner is your front runner.
Yeah.
I got his teammate actually, Muncy.
Do you?
So, yeah. I mean, I could go either way. The deciding factor for me on that was real simple, and it may not even be something that the voters considered, but something for me that makes a difference is Muncy plays multiple positions. And so he's more valuable for me in that respect, just because he can fill 2 or maybe even in a pinch 3 or 4 positions in the field. And Turner, a shortstop surely can play second base and maybe third, but he doesn't have any experience as far as I'm aware playing those positions in a major league game.
And he's actually also played outfield too. He's played center field for the Nationals. Yeah. He's played the outfield for the Nationals.
Dude, been doing everything.
Okay, well, put me down for either or then.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, I'm comfortable taking 2 teammates because as things shake out, one of them's going to fall away and one of them's not.
So what we always say here is, give me who you don't got, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Because the other thing too is, I love the Giants, man. I love what they've done, but I don't think I have a feeling that the Dodgers are about to put it together and go on a real big run here. And I don't think the Giants have what it takes to keep up with them. They'll make the playoffs, of course, but I think they're going to end up in a wild card.
So with Scherzer winning 20 games, and like I said, it was a good segue to what we were going to talk about. We're on the Miggy watch because Miguel Cabrera is doing huge things. He just got, he's on track to hit 500 home runs this year.
Can we talk about Miggy for a second? I know we didn't plan it, but he's actually on pace. Not on pace, but he could hit 5 major milestones this year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 498 home runs. 20. Now this is before tonight's game started. I haven't looked at what he's done so far, but 498 home runs, 2,945 hits, 590 doubles, and then he's also six runs scored away from 1,500. And if he gets walked 15 more times this year, he'll have 1,200 walks.
Man,
that is insane. Can you if he hits all 5 of those milestones by the end of the season? It wouldn't make it the greatest season ever in terms of accomplishments necessarily, but does that make it the most historic single season in a batter's history in Major League Baseball?
He's there. He will be there. He would be one of the ones. He would be one. You could red carpet that thing. He's going to be there.
I looked up for home runs. home runs, doubles, and hits. He's right around 30th all time for all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
First fellow.
Yeah, man. Like to be the 30th best baseball player of all time is one thing, but to be that high in that many categories, and I don't remember, where he ranks in walks and runs scored, but it's got to be up around the same number. Actually, no, I think walks was quite a bit lower, like 68th or something, but still.
That's
even I'm gonna tell you like this. Even if he don't hit it, which I doubt it, I think he's gonna get all 5. He just one of the ones, man. I mean, availability is one of your best abilities in all of sports. He's been available and he's been constant ever since he hit the league.
Shout out Kyle Ripken. But
Yes,
no, you're right, man. Like, it's just I would be shocked if he didn't hit all 5 marks this year. Mm-hmm. And because Tigers have 56, 58 games left to go, something like that. So you're muted, Jorge.
Sorry, let me tell y'all this. He busted into the league in 2003. He played 87 games. Every year up until 2018, which is 35, he was 35 years old. He played only 38 games.
I'm so glad you said he came into the league in 2003, because that draws a crazy parallel for me.
What's that?
Well, so Miggy's not a guy who's been clearly top, 2 or 3 in baseball the entire time he's been here. I want, not the entire time's wrong, but he hasn't been a top 3 baseball player for 10 years. He was for a good 5-year stretch, for sure. But he's been here since 2003. He's at or close to all these records. Is there a basketball player that reminds you of?
That's LeBron. That's LeBron. Durability, longevity, everything he touches now is a record.
The main difference between him and LeBron is he's been playing in major league cities that the media doesn't give a shit about.
They sure don't give a damn about Detroit.
Yeah. And let's not forget, before that, he was playing in Florida. You get lost in Florida.
Yeah.
And Seattle,
Miami.
which, and outside of the Griffey era, nobody cares about Seattle.
Nobody didn't care.
So,
shout out to AJ Myers.
Yeah, for real.
I forgot all these.
What's his jaw Yermes?
Our standalone
his
man.
backup for the Facebook jail days.
So, going back to what we were talking about, we wanted to touch on the 3 subjects: the 500 home run club, the 3,000 hit club, and the 300 win club as a pitcher. Which one is harder to get into and why? Obviously, the one that's hardest to get into now is the 300 win club, because no pitcher, they're not going 6, 7 innings. You know what I mean? They're not going shutouts. But we're taking that out of the equation. Let's just erase that. Let's just say pitchers can, go 8 innings. And also as a pitcher, there's a lot of variables. You give the ball to the bullpen, they can, let the lead go, and then it becomes a no decision. So let's just say these pitchers are durable enough to go 8, 9 innings and they pick up the wins and able to do it.
Quick smell.
Not my guy, right? Not my guy.
I'm going to throw out something to you guys to let you know how hard it is to get the 300 win club. There's only 24 pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball that have 300 wins. 24.
Before you move on from that point, because that was one of the things I was going to bring up too, is that's not far off from the 32 guys with 3,000 hits and 28 guys with 500 home runs. So, but it just to put that in perspective, it's around the same number of guys, but good.
And let me give you even another absurd number: the longevity of these pitchers. Randy Johnson, the big unit, played for the Mariners, played for the Yankees, played for what's another team he played for? He played
D-backs.
for the D-backs. There you go.
Backs.
He's the last one to do this, and he joined the list in 2009. 2009.
12 years later.
And he wound up being number 22 on the list. It took him 22 years to be in the league, and 162 game average, he averaged 17 wins a year. And let me give you another absurd number that we will probably won't see ever again. He had 100 complete games in his career. That's 100, meaning he started the game and he finished it. And not only that,
that many.
And not only that, in 1 year, at age 36, he had 12. 12.
Man, I'm just looking up Verlander's stats. Now you can't see because of the background. To see where he's at in wins. He's only at 226. And this is outside of Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer, really the best pitcher of the last 15 years. I mean, that's arguable, but that's crazy.
Very.
And he's not gonna sniff 300.
No, absolutely not. He's 37.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Randy had 100.
100
That's
complete
a
games.
lot. That's what I came here to look up. Verlander's only got 26
complete games.
Yeah.
This is oh Lord.
So,
the pitchers just, is it the durability? Is it these managers saving them from arm damage, or what is it?
I think so. You could say durability is part of it, but I think it has more to do with just the direction the game has gone and the philosophy employed by the managers as the game has evolved. The days of the workhorse pitcher are pretty much over. 80s, 90s, early 2000s, you had guys going 7 and 8 innings every single start. You had, hell, look at a guy like Nolan Ryan. That's obviously going pretty far back, but the guy didn't have 7 no-hitters because he didn't throw a whole lot of innings. That you, as a manager, like, here's the thing that the fans got to understand. As a manager, you're not going to trust a guy to go out and get a no-hitter, even if he's throwing one, unless he's got a knack for going 7.5 or 8 innings. Because here's the thing is you got to be thinking about today and not just this guy's feelings or what the fans are going to think about you ruining a no-hitter. That's one of the reasons we see so many combined no-hitters anymore.
That's what I was just about to add. We have seen, like, this year, we have seen quite a few team no-hitters, not just pitchers.
Yeah. And it's because either you've just got a guy out there on the mound who doesn't have a track record of going into the 7th inning, or sometimes it's just matchups. If it's a big important game, manager's going to want to get his best option out there. But a lot of it, I think, is just the philosophy of the game now. It's gotten to a point where I think a lot of managers are pretty hesitant to let most of their starters go through the lineup a third or especially a fourth time.
I agree 100%. It's just the way the game is going. More arms in the bullpen now than back in the day. You have 7, 8 relievers at any certain point on your team, and you use your higher or better bullpen guys more often. You probably see them 2 games in a row, maybe even 3, depending on who you're playing and if it's important games. So it's just the way the game is going, man. And I mean, let's also not forget these pitchers now, they're groomed when they're young to pitch a lot, meaning the pitchers that pitch in Florida, Georgia, where it's warm, where they play baseball all year round, they already have a lot of miles on their arm. So when they come up and they get into the bigger leagues, they don't want them to pitch as much because their arm already has mileage. That's why you see kids in their young career. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to. Exactly.
I'll hold off on the Kershaw comments till Ty gets on here. But
Mr. Tommy John.
Here's another big thing. And Kershaw obviously has nothing to do with Tommy John. But I'm playing. I'm not wishing that on anybody.
No.
Now, another big thing too is just the age of information now too, and I think that plays a big part in it because you've got iPads and stuff in the dugout that has every player's all of their career numbers and their splits, and how does this guy in my bullpen fare against the back third of the lineup that's coming up next inning, and all that stuff, which wasn't so readily available in the past. So managers had to trust the arms more than they do now. Now they've got all these numbers and analytics to pour over.
That's the word. That is the word right there. Analytics. In all of sports, I really think analytics have taken over how we play at this point. Analytics can tell you how to pitch towards a person. Analytics will tell you this player going to hit 80% of the time right field.
100%.
Or
you're not going to have that information and not use it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think that's had a major role in guys like not necessarily Verlander, because we've seen a lot more of this in the last few years, but guys like that who just won't have a chance to get to 300. Here's the other thing about 300 wins and why it's in my opinion harder to get to than 500 home runs or 3,000 hits. Not that any of those are, not to diminish either accomplishment, but 500 home runs and 3,000 hits are individual accomplishments. As a pitcher, you can go out there over 20 years and throw well enough to win 500 games and come away with 100 of them, because there's a lot of there's luck involved with getting a W. There's you've got 8 guys behind you that you have to trust to make the plays.
Right.
So it's a guy like Scherzer isn't going to go out there and get a win every time he gets 15 strikeouts. Most of the time he will. But there are untimely errors and misplayed balls and things like that are going to take a win away from you, or just an offense that that shells the hell out of your bullpen and ruins a good 7-inning effort and puts up 6 runs in the 8th and 9th, and you lose the game.
That's a very good point. Very, very good point. And this also, if you're pitching that well, generally, let's say when you're a good pitcher or you're a pitcher of that caliber that can get to 300 wins, you already know that the other pitcher on the other side of in the other clubhouse, in the other dugout, they want to match your intensity. So that's probably going to be a close game. And if it is a close game, one pitch you can lose that W. Just one pitch.
Oh yeah. How many times? Not that it happens all the time, but how many times you see a pitcher go out there and throw what may have been a shutout had he gotten to pitch the whole game, but he gives up 2 hits, and one of them's a 3-run homer because he walked a guy, and then they lose 3-2.
Oh yeah, a lot. Just one pitch. Miss your location.
Yep.
Gone.
One hanging slider, and it's all over.
You hang them, they'll bang it.
Yep.
Hang them, they bang them.
Yep.
By the way, just speaking to recent events, I just, you said that, I got to throw out there, Joey Votto still bangs. Anyway.
Dude, there is just on a hot streak, man. Ever since July, dude is hot, man. And what a better time to be hot. Right about this time,
man. And you know what? Just because it wasn't thrown out there on the last show, because last show was right in the middle of his home run streak. He hit 9 home runs in 7 games. Came about 8 inches away from tying the major league record. 8 consecutive games of the home run. Hit one right off the stripe. That was maybe the most painful thing of the season for me.
So let's move on to the other cat we're going to talk about, the 3,000 hit club. Let's give a little perspective on that. So Miggy's approaching that, and he's going to be the 33rd ever to do that. All right. So if he does it this year, it would have taken him 19 years and 162 game average of 157 hits a year. 150 hits a year per year for 19 years. That's his average. So just to let you guys know, in the 160 game average, there's 162 games in a year. Good players that are healthy and want to play every day usually play 160 games. You average about 600 at bats, and you only pick up 157 hits. That's and that, to tell you, is a Hall of Famer. Because let's not mistake this. Miguel Cabrera is going to be a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Cooper's
100%.
time.
Dude, this
Get
dude
that
could have
red
retired
carpet
5
ready.
years ago, and he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And so to let you guys know, he played 19 years, and like I told you, in the last 3 or 4 years, he's averaged like it was 89 games. He averaged 89 games 3 of the 4 years that just passed. The last 4 years, excuse me. So you have to get a lot of hits early in your career, meaning you have to have seasons where you have 190, 195 hits for you to be able to reach 3,000. If you don't get that early in your career, we all know that Father Time ain't on nobody's side. It catches up with everybody. So if you're not getting 190, 195 hits the first 5-6 years of your career, you're not going to reach this.
You know what? Let's circle back. So we were talking about Bryce Harper, right? He's in what, his 9th year?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? He's got less than 1,300 hits.
There you go. There you go. So
how old is he?
Who?
Miggy.
Miggy is 38.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yep.
And the normal, well, what is the and for the people, what is like the regular age of a player to be like, oh, I'm retired, as far as a batter, not a pitcher, but just a regular outfielder or infielder?
Like in football, that depends entirely on position.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
A first baseman isn't going to move much.
Right.
A catcher's, unless you're Buster Posey, your knees are going to give out. But Buster Posey has probably literally now knees of steel.
Yeah.
But I mean, for maybe a first or third baseman, which I think it's crazy to think the hot corner, but those are probably the 2 easiest positions to play on the diamond as far as longevity goes. you look at a guy like David Wright. I think played till he was like 36, something like that, and
David
he was
Wright, yeah.
always one of the better hitters in the league. He was the 300 guy all the time. That's another key is you're not going to get that type of longevity if you can't tote the bat. So if you're hitting 250 at 33, all 30 teams in the league are looking for another option.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Miggy's hitting. Miggy hit 250 this year. Miggy's hitting 250 the year before. Miggy hit 282 2019.
But you can do that as a DH when you've got a 14-year track record of doing. Because here's the thing: is like Miggy's Miggy. He's Miguel Cabrera.
He just go out and have fun and do what he do.
Right. And honestly, another big factor of that, in my opinion, is the Tigers aren't in a position to contend.
Mm-hmm.
If they were 4 games out of the wild card, you might see Cabrera getting some more days off, just so they can put another bat in there that hits for better average.
Let's the person who's been playing just as long, Pujols, same thing.
Yeah.
Same exact thing.
He's played once a week since he got to the Dodgers.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened with Cabrera if he wasn't DHing. He plays first base here and there, sometime, but it's the same exact thing. That's a really good point. And, not to take away nothing from the 300 hits, but we always talk about being 1 for 3 as a hitter. You're a Hall of Famer.
You're a Hall of Famer if you bat 30%.
For me personally, yeah, I know pitching, the game was about pitching, but I think the 3,000 hit club is just harder to do and harder to get to. Just because if we were in the era to where, let's say, for instance, if it continued with the Randy Johnsons, with the Maddoxes, it continued with, Nolan Ryans that can complete games, I think we would have more 300 game runners. But since the game is changing, that's why we're not seeing that. If, for instance, if Verlander, if Scherzer, if these mindsets in baseball weren't changing to where we get more bullpen runners in the game, I think they'd be a lot closer than what they are. Don't you think, Category?
Oh yeah, and you know what? There is one thing that I've also noticed over the last 5 years or so is there are a lot more late game defensive changes. So you do have guys missing out on an at bat or two at the end of a game sometimes, but I don't think that's affected the overall numbers as much as the wins, personally.
Yeah.
So okay, so rank them. You got I got wins, hits, home runs.
I got hits, wins, home runs.
Okay. Now I would agree with you 10 years ago. 5 years ago, maybe even. Just not now, because like I was saying, you just not only do you not have the guys that are able in a lot of cases to go out and throw 8 innings, but they're hampered by the mentality of their managers.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Dion says, "My guys," he says, "What's up?" Tyrell, he also says, "Good point." Category, he's talking about you with the pitching and the bullpen coming in and probably losing a game.
Right.
And Les, he says, "The White Sox beat the Cubs today, and that's all that matters. Carry on."
That is not all that matters, but it does matter.
Oh man! And
every day the Cubs lose is a good day.
Yeah, that is a good day. But let's touch on the 500 home run club also, since we already ranked him. Right. Miguel Cabrera is approaching that, and he's only 2 away. Eddie Murray, who hit 504, is the last 500 is the last, meaning he's number 27 all time, and he's the last one on the 500 list to get to 500. He played for 27 years, and his 162 game average is 27 home runs. So in 21 years, he averaged 27 home runs. I'm going to go to another guy, which we know well, and we talk about deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, Gary Sheffield. He's number 26 on the list. He played 22 years, and he hit 509. And his 162 game average is 32 home runs. That's nasty.
He also has almost 2,700 hits. Let that man in the damn Hall.
Get him in there,
get
man.
Him in.
I said this before, man. G belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like, hold up. 292 lifetime batting average, 2,689 hits, 509 home runs.
Check.
1,676 RBI.
Check.
The man walked 1,475 times. Lifetime OPS of 907. Like, what the hell is the problem?
He got a picture of somebody. He probably got a naked picture of somebody wife or something off in there. They let him in.
Hey,
I'm sorry, y'all. This Bryce Harper shit's got me hyped up.
Hey, if we're being honest, I mean, let's say for what it is. I mean, you can compare him all day, every day to Miggy, Sheffield and Miggy. It's the same.
As a matter of fact, tell me something. So, I actually, who would, as a pitcher, who would you fear more? Gary Sheffield or Jim Thome?
G.
I'm
going G. I know about Thome. I know about Jim Thome. Thome, he don't let things get by him. But G, that dude, though, man.
Because here's the thing is, I mean, you could argue that Thome was a better hitter, but I mean, he had like 100 more home runs. He didn't quite have the average or the hit total, I don't think, but Thome's a Hall of Famer.
He's a better power hitter.
That's what it is. He's a power hitter.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So, but Thome's in the Hall.
But the thing about G is G could bat for power, and he know how to bat. He know how to hit.
Right, like
he know how to hit. He know how to do both.
Sheffield's a 3-hole guy. Thome was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, G was that dude, man.
And let's not forget, Gary Sheffield, when he was a 5-2 player. He didn't steal a lot of bases, but he was a 5-2 player. He didn't steal a lot of bases because why? He generally would hit in the middle of your lineup, and he didn't need to. But he was a 5-2 player. What are we doing?
The Marlins got their swipes before he got up to the plate. That's why.
Yeah.
Juan Pierre.
That's a 1-2 guy.
Dude, every time the folks get on the base, he on there. Like,
listen,
you
Trav,
start the game.
One more time to make that show.
Oh my God. They won it though, man. They came out of nowhere and won that World Series. Like,
did you say they won it?
The Mariners? I mean, not the Mariners, the Marlins.
No, I said won.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying that team in particular, like they won.
No, they did though. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting for the Indians. I don't know if that makes me a bad Reds fan. We got the Battle of Ohio and all that. It's an Ohio team, man. I was pulling for them.
I make sure I mute that.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. Growing up, I was happy that it wasn't the Yankees or the Braves. You know, I for real.
That was the '97 series. After '95, I was happy as hell it wasn't the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big enough of a man to admit I'm still hurt from that '95 NLCS.
Man. So let's get into the last topic we're going to talk about, and we're talking about the AL playoff picture, where we stand, what's going on, and who we think is going to get in. I'm going to recap as far as the standings go right now.
Mm-hmm.
So in the AL East, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. And if you guys already know us, we say the Rays thanks to Category. First show, he's like, hey, the Rays.
Tampa Rays.
I don't know where it came from, but it is what it is, and that's what we call them. Now, Boston is falling off. They're 3-7 in their last 10. You know,
they getting touched up right now too.
Mm-hmm. And
can you say that again?
3-7 in their last 10. And Category has a lot to say about them. Category, hold up. We'll be back in 1 minute. In 1 minute. Let me give the rest. Let me give the rest of the standings. Then we have the White Sox, basically, that's been up in the Central all year. First place, we got Houston. And then in the wild card right now, we have Boston leading the wild card by 2.5 games. Against the two teams behind them is Oakland for the second spot, and then the Yankees, which are a game and a half out behind Oakland. The Yankees have been hot. The Yankees have been since actually they got Rizzo, they've been 6-1, which is pretty damn good. And in their last 10, they're 8-2. So we're gonna put them and we're gonna rank them where we think we're gonna be in the playoffs. Yeah, whatever. But just give it to the people.
Hey, so, man, like you know what? I'll wait till the appropriate time.
So we're gonna go and we're gonna see where they think they end up, what we think, who's gonna be first in the league, who's gonna be the two wildcard teams. Category, get it off your chest. What you got to say about Boston?
How much time we got left?
15 minutes.
I don't know. Should I? Maybe I should save it for a whole other show.
You know what? We actually got 10.
All right. So look. I've told y'all all year they're not going to make the playoffs. Oh, damn it! Now, right before the break, I had to kind of walk it back a little bit and admit they might make it, but they're not going to do anything once they get there. But ever since then, they're just proving me right. Here's the thing is they've made it this far off the strength of their offense, right? And their pitching has overachieved all year long. And what's happening now is that terrible, horrible, no good, very bad defense is catching up to their pitching. They've lost, is it 6 in a row now? Did they lose tonight?
That's what I'm actually looking at right now.
Hold up, I'm pulling it up. Yeah,
they get smacked.
Okay,
they get
so
smacked.
The Blue Jays are beating the crap out of them. I'm not trying to increase our rating, but it's 11-4 Jays in the 8th right now. So it's about to be 6 in a row. It's just you cannot win when you are the worst defensive team in baseball. It's just not. And then they want to put Schwarber in the field and add that. Come on now. Like, it's not going to happen. Your playoff teams are going to be the Astros and the White Sox are going to win their divisions. I have zero doubts about that, period. And then I'm looking at the Rays winning the East and the Blue Jays taking the other wild card. I need to do some research on this. I don't know. I just saw this. Laureano for the A's has been suspended. I didn't see what for. So, good thing they went out and got Marte. But, so part of it's going to depend on that. But I just think that the Blue Jays have enough and added enough that they're going to end up taking that wild card spot. You got Barrios. And they added Brad Hand, so now they got a legitimate closer. They filled the holes, and I think Biggio's on the IL right now, right?
I don't know about that.
But I mean, either way, I think he went on the 10-day IL a few days ago. I see this spiral for the Red Sox continuing for another couple of weeks, maybe just a week, but until they're pretty much out of it.
So just to let you know, they actually beat Detroit 4-1 on Wednesday. So if they lose today, they'll lose 6 out of the last 7, which is bad. So
okay, well that's still a win against Detroit, which is like a loss. So
so let me tell you their schedule. The Red Sox schedule. They got 3 more against Toronto because they have a doubleheader tomorrow, and then they play them on Sunday.
Loss, maybe win.
They got 3 against Tampa Bay. They got 3 against Baltimore, and then they got 3 against the Yankees. So right now they're playing in their own division until the 19th.
I'm looking at that seriously as 3 wins.
And they're probably all going to come against Baltimore.
Maybe 5 for that reason. But yeah, like I honestly think that's what 16 games, something like that. They may be, like I've been saying, they may be 10 games back by the time that's over.
Oh, it's a doubleheader against the Yankees in one of those days because it's a makeup game. So it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games against the division.
Something else to point out, and I'm going to look what it's been since the break, but before the break, the Red Sox were 6-0, I think, against the Yankees. And I'm double checking right now, but I think there's something like 1-5 against the since. I lied. They took 3 out of 4, but they also lost 3 out of 4. So I was way off, but it's still a big difference. Rizzo and Gallo, maybe, but that's the other thing is the Yankees are a part of this too. They don't have the pitching. They just don't. You know, they traded away 3 arms at the break. They got I can't even think of the dude's name. Same day they traded for Rizzo. They got another pitcher, but they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything pitching wise. They added a starter and traded 3 relievers.
Mm-hmm.
And the bullpen has been their biggest issue. Like, some of the decision making by major league front offices at this deadline has been just baffling.
So, I tell you guys again, like I've told you guys in other shows, they left the door open for the team that I think is going to take one of the wild cards, which is the Blue Jays. I told you, watch out for them. They're young. They have the pitching where if they ever rises up to the occasion that can match to their offense. And their offense, as we know, is outstanding. We have possibly the Triple Crown winner in that lineup. And he doesn't have the career that one of their batters has now. So we have to watch out for them. You know, we have to they're young, they're getting better. And right now, they're probably going to show how good of a team they are because it's coming to that stretch too where they have to show that they can win these games. And they're showing it because they're beating up on Boston 11-4.
Man, they beat their brains in.
Yeah, so watch out for them. And they're not far in the division. They're only 6.5 games out, and we still got a month and a half left. That can still be made up easily because there's a lot of division games left. So watch out for them. I think, like I told you guys earlier, I think they squeeze in the wild card. You know, I don't think they're going to come back with the division because we still have the Rays up there. And let's be real, you know, the Boston Red Sox left the door wide open for the Rays, and the Rays just kicked that door down, and they're a game and a half up.
So you with me now? Red Sox are going to miss out?
I think it's either that they're going to miss out or they're going to squeeze in the wild card, and they're going to play Toronto. So
and lose.
And lose. Yeah, and lose. Yeah. and lose. I have in the Central and the West. I have for sure the White Sox in Houston. There's no way in these divisions.
You know what? There's another big factor here for me with the Red Sox is you've got Chris Sale coming back soon, right? He's got, by all accounts, one more rehab start before he comes back to the majors.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't go out and add any pitching at the deadline. And so now what you're doing basically is you're in the middle of a skid here, and you're going to depend on a guy who hasn't played in 2 years to come in and right the ship and put all that pressure on him. Like 2 Tommy John surgeries since he's played. That is not a winning formula. Like I don't see it happening, man. You can't take a guy who's been out of the game for 2 years and put that much pressure on him and tell him, okay, now come back and win us the division.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to finish my thought, and I kind of, stop what I was saying. We were talking about Vlad being the power hitter and the hitter that he is. In that same division, there's a better power hitter that Tampa Bay picked up with Nelson Cruz. I think that's gonna be a huge acquisition down the line. And that's part of the reason why I think they take the division. And you're right. You can't put the weight of your team on a pitcher that's coming back from injury and has been out that long. There's no way. You can't do that.
It's not Kershaw coming back from elbow tightness. It's I mean, he's Chris Sale, but is he still Chris Sale?
And we've seen it with Tommy John. It usually takes about a year for them to get their velocity back and be the pitcher that they were before.
The ACL for arm, the Achilles heel for arm injuries.
The arm CL.
The arm CL.
That's exactly what that is.
Yep.
But fellas, closing thoughts. I think we didn't tapped on to everything we wanted to get into. I'm gonna start off with you, Cat 5.
I don't even know, man. Closing thoughts. I could go. I'm in one of the moods, man. I could go for another hour.
Man.
But closing thoughts, man, is I'm gonna be so disappointed in Major League Baseball if Bryce Harper gets any harder. Almost at all. Like here's another. Actually, here's something else, and this is a good time to bring it up, I guess. Another argument against Harper for MVP is this man has been below average in right field this year. He's not a good fielder.
Bottom line,
he
should not be getting no awards this
year. Yeah, not a good fielder maybe isn't entirely accurate, but he's not above average.
Right. Absolutely
not. He's a body in right field who has a decent arm. That's about it.
The way he throws the ball is just weird.
Oh, man.
It is, man. It looks like Scott Smalls learning how to throw in the Sandlot.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Man.
Come on, man. So yeah, Bryce Harper for MVP, absolutely not. Red Sox are missing the playoffs. That ain't nothing new. I don't know, man. That's it. You can't let me talk anymore. I'm gonna keep going.
Boy, hey, closing thoughts, man.
Hey, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. If you do watch, like, subscribe, comment on the bottom. Hey, I subscribe. Just give us a hey, so we can shout you out in the next video. Also, look out for a big announcement next week from us.
Yes.
Look out for a huge announcement from us. Something's big coming from here, us at the scene. And Trav, take it away, brother.
Hey, man. Like, share, and subscribe to the scene, man. This is the Dish. This is my guy, Jorge, Guru. I got my guy, Cat 5. We gonna holler at y'all later, man.